Hello, BookTube. In my last book haul, I mentioned that I had two other book hauls incoming. One of the two came in today. Last week, I put in an order with Powell's, the great independent bookstore in Portland, Oregon, for some contemporary translated fiction. I've mentioned several times the past few months that I've been developing a desire to add more contemporary translated fiction to my collection, alongside more poetry and 20th century American drama. And for several months, I have resisted that desire, but this month I have decided to indulge. So I have four works of fiction in translation. So let's get going. First up is Brickmakers by Selva Almada, translated by McDermott. Oscar Tamay and Elvio Miranda, the patriarchs of two families of brickmakers, have for years nursed a mutual hatred, but their teenage sons, Pájaro and Angelito, somehow fell in love. Brickmakers begins as Pájaro and Angelito's older brother lie dying in the mud at the base of a Ferris wheel, inhabiting a dreamlike state between life and death. They recall the events that forced them to pay the price for their father's petty feud. So I've been interested in picking this book up for a few years now. So really happy to finally have it. And the book that kicked me in the keister to pick it up is Almada's most recent work, Not a River, again translated by McDermott. It's not a river, it's this river. A hot, motionless afternoon, Enero and El Negro are fishing with Tilo, their dead friend's teenage son. After hours of struggling with a hooked stingray, Enero aims his revolver into the water and shoots. They hang the ray's enormous corpse from a tree at their campsite and let it go to rot, drawing the attention of a few local islanders and igniting a long-simmering fury toward outsiders. There are also two teenage sisters with black hair as cowbird feathers and giving off the scent of green grass, who invite the trio to a dance, but the girls are not quite as they seem. And as night approaches and tensions rise, Enero and El Negro must confront their charged memories of Tilo's father, who years ago drowned in the same river. Spare, sinuous, and timeless, Not a River is an extraordinary novel where reckless desire and irrepressible memories commingle with the teeming, vital life force of the land. So this book was shortlisted for this year's International Booker and just recently came out in English translation here in the United States. So really looking forward to it. Next up is the winner of the National Book Award in Translated Literature from last year. So this is the 2023 winner. It is The Words That Remain by Stenio Gardel, translated from the Portuguese by Bruna Danatas Lobato. Excuse me. A letter has beckoned to Raimundo since he received it decades ago from his youthful passion, handsome Cicero. But having grown up in an impoverished area of Brazil where the demands of manual labor thwarted his becoming literate, Raimundo has long been unable to read. As young men, he and Cicero fell in love, only to have Raimundo's father brutally beat his son when he discovered their affair. Even after Raimundo succeeds in making a life for himself in the big city, he continues to be haunted by the secret missive full of longing from the distant past. Now at age 71, he at last acquires a true education and the ability to access the letter. Exploring Brazil's little-known hinterland, as well as its urban haunts, this is a sweeping novel of repression, violence, and shame, along with their flip side, survival, endurance, and the ultimate triumph of an unforgettable figure on society's margins. The Words That Remain explores the universal power of the written word and language and how they affect all our relationships. And finally, this is Paradais by Fernanda Melchor, translated by Sophie Hughes. So I read Hurricane Season by Fernanda Melchor and translated by Sophie Hughes a few years ago and enjoyed it, and I've been wanting to pick this book up since then. Inside a luxury housing complex, two misfit teenagers sneak around and get drunk. Franco Andrade, lonely, overweight, and addicted to porn, obsessively fantasizes about seducing his neighbor, an attractive married woman and mother, while Polo dreams about quitting his grueling job as the gated community's gardener and fleeing his overbearing mother and their narco-controlled village. Each facing the impossibility of getting what he thinks he deserves, Franco and Polo hatch a mindless and macabre scheme. Written in a chilling torrent of prose by one of our most thrilling new writers, Paradais explores the explosive fragility of Mexican society, with its racist, classist, hyper-violent tendencies, and how the myths, desires, and hardships of teenagers can tear life apart at the seams. So, looking forward to it. Anyway, so yeah, that was my latest book haul. I should have another one coming probably sometime next week. I don't know for sure because the tracking information on it is being a bit of a pain in the rear end. But I will, when it comes in, I will haul it and then put all of these books that I've been hauling lately onto my classics, canonical, modern, and contemporary fiction, poetry, and drama bookshelves and rearrange them because I do want to rearrange them. I don't know if you can notice with the library tour, but what I've done is I have two bookcases. So I put one shelf, like I have some books on one shelf, and then I continue onto the next shelf. So it would be like A, B, C, D, on and on. And I'm not really liking that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like A, B, C, D, and then E, F, G. And I might end up filming it. I don't know. It depends. But in your booktube, to recap, Paradais by Fernanda Melchor, translated by Sophie Hughes. The Words That Remain by Stenio Gardel, translated by Bruna, Danatas, Lobato. Not a River by Selva Almada, translated by Annie McDermott. And Brickmakers by Selva Almada. By Selva Almada, translated by Annie McDermott. So in your booktube, I will see you shortly or later this evening with weekly reads. So until then, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.